If you've never visited SpaceX's Starbase facility in Boca Chica outside Brownsville, Texas, you're missing out. Few places have rockets of this scale on display, and it appears like SpaceX will share its enthusiasm with the public. Elon Musk just gave a surprise to his space fans, so let's find out. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel Elon Musk World, where we tell you all of the latest news about Elon Musk and his multi-billion-dollar companies. In today's video, we are going to tell you about how SpaceX will be going to send its retired Starship near BRO Airport. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our incredible videos. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and tech billionaire, responded to a tweet from a SpaceX fan who thought it was a brilliant idea to have the Starship rocket displayed in a certain spot. The region will serve as a tourism attraction for SpaceX fans and enthusiasts, allowing them to observe the rocket without having to travel to Starbase, where it would be waiting for missions. Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport, or BRO, appears to have persuaded SpaceX CEO Elon Musk to turn a retired Starship prototype into a public exhibit in a brief Twitter exchange. Musk stated that he is willing to donate a prototype to any public space that has a focal spot for locals to enjoy and socialize. It might become a new tourist attraction in the area, providing fans with exactly what they want thanks to SpaceX and its CEO. The CEO suggested that it be built on or near BRO Airport, which would be a convenient location for Brownsville and South Padre inhabitants near Starbase. The prototype would fit best at the airport, according to the BRO Airport Twitter account, and it may be on the same named Starship Road. Musk promised to deploy one to this location. SpaceX's Starbase Starship factory, which has been operational in some form since 2020, is already a bit of a tourist magnet for Brownsville, Texas, and the surrounding Rio Grande Valley, particularly for aficionados of spaceflight and rockets. The massive plant and trio of orbital and suborbital launch pads are adjacent to the public roadway, a small private housing complex, and a public beach, all of which have been a constant source of frustration for SpaceX for years. The corporation has, however, continued to work with residents to cohabitate, while also producing tourism and bringing tremendous economic growth and notoriety to the relatively peaceful region. It's becoming increasingly unclear whether SpaceX will be able to realize its full potential for Starbase in South Texas, but Elon Musk recently reaffirmed SpaceX's commitment to maintaining a strong presence in the region, regardless of whether the US government grants it the necessary permissions for regular Starship launches. Musk's impulsive decision to gift an entire Starship prototype to a local charity illustrates his dedication. While Starbase is already a de facto tourist site where visitors can come within a stone's throw of multiple prototypes of the world's largest rocket, the visitor setup is haphazard, inconvenient, and situated next to a busy highway and rocket factory. A dedicated Starship display with dedicated parking and no need to tiptoe around a motorway would surely be an improvement. SpaceX is giving away a public prototype of the Starship, which will act as a memorial to the firm and its storied stainless steel spacecraft. While the concept is unusual, Musk was the one who came up with the notion of giving away a prototype to the general people to enjoy and admire in addition to touring the Starbase installation. Because of its ability to travel to Mars and bring the first humans there, the Starship has become legendary. Putting the public Starship display right next to the area's busiest airport would also eliminate the need for visitors to drive half an hour out of their way, ensuring that considerably more people get to see a Starship up close and learn about SpaceX's presence in the area. Thankfully, SpaceX has plenty of prototypes to pick from, thanks to its increasingly unconventional behavior. In May 2021, the Starship SN-15 became the first prototype of any kind to fly to a reasonable altitude, or 10 kilometers, skydive back to Earth, flip about at the last second, and survive a soft landing. Musk had previously stated that the historic prototype would be utilized in a second flight test. However, the ship was never flown again and has since sat at Starbase's Rocket Garden. Starship SN-16, which was nearly identical to SN-15, was likewise intended to fly, but was never given the opportunity to do so before being retired to the same garden. Next, late last year, SpaceX nearly completed a whole Super Heavy booster, standing about 70 meters or 230 feet tall, but shipped B-5 right to the garden without ever bothering to complete or test the rocket. Its sibling rocket, Super Heavy B-4, was supposed to support Starship's first orbital launch attempt, but after spending nearly half a year floating about the orbital launch site, it has only performed a fraction of the essential proving tests. It's feasible that B-4 will wind up at the same place as B-5 later this year. Finally, SpaceX most recently decided to assemble Starship S-22, very similar to Starship S-20, the other half of the first orbital test flight pair of B-4 and S-20, and stacked the ship to its full height on February 14, 2022. After installing its nose cone and the last two of the 4 flaps, though, SpaceX immediately sent an unfinished Starship to the same graveyard of retired prototypes, strongly implying that it too will never be used. While SpaceX's ever-growing stock of retired or entirely unused Starship and Super Heavy gear makes giving one or more prototypes increasingly difficult, the firm's ever-growing supply of retired or fully unused Starship and Super Heavy hardware affords the company plenty of possibilities. The only serious roadblocks are the requirements for a concrete foundation to support the display vehicles, and the difficulty of hauling vertical building-sized rockets. A number of electrical lines and traffic lights would likely need to be temporarily removed or reconfigured to get a Starship all the way to Brownsville International Airport, but that's a minor inconvenience with enough political will. The specific spacecraft to rise by the BRO airport may be the one the company used for its Starship and Super Heavy full stack used as a backdrop by Musk and SpaceX. Currently, there is no news of SpaceX having a test flight mission for the full stack rockets. It is important to note that SpaceX has different Starship prototypes to give away to the airport at their disposal, and it is not stuck on the one used several weeks ago. Nevertheless, it will be a massive new attraction in the BRO airport, especially as it will sit on Starship Road. That is only a coincidence that matches its rightful place. Starship is the nearly 400-foot-tall rocket that SpaceX has been developing, with the goal of creating a vehicle that can carry cargo and groups of people beyond Earth. Musk presented the rocket as crucial to establishing a human presence on other planetary bodies, such as the Moon and Mars, further advocating against the idea that space travel is frivolous. Musk declared that traveling to Mars is far from being some sort of escape hatch, as it will be extremely difficult and dangerous and tough. Although public support for the creation of Starship may appear to be unneeded, it is critical to Musk's vision for SpaceX's future. While the private firm raises billions from investors, SpaceX has secured many taxpayer-funded contracts for Starship, and the company still needs federal approval to launch in earnest from its base on the Gulf Coast's southernmost tip. SpaceX has conducted a number of high-altitude flight tests with Starship prototypes, but the company's next big goal is to get to space. While that goal was supposed to be met last year, development has slowed, and the orbital flight test is still awaiting regulatory certification. The Federal Aviation Administration must grant SpaceX a license, and the authority is anticipated to conduct a major environmental review in the coming months. Might be a few bumps along the road, but I feel at this point highly confident that we'll get to orbit this year, Musk said. We sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a like and share it with your friends and family. Let us know if you have any questions or comments in the section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more of our incredible videos. You can also watch our other videos that have been specially selected for you. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.